episode of the Just Get Hired podcast and the Spill the Sauce series brought to you by the Spicy No Hot Sauce. I'm your host, Jessica Fiesta George. Today we're diving into a sizzling topic, career transition and finding the purpose with the concept of Ikigai. I'm thrilled to have Kavita Ahuja with us. Kavita is a certified women's career and life transitions coach. She's also the voice behind the Mindful Reinvention podcast. She's also the founder of It's My Time Now coaching. And you guys are in for a spicy treat. She's going to give us insights on how to discover your true calling. But before we jump in, don't forget, click that subscribe button. Follow on all of the social media channels. And now it's time to welcome Kavita to the Just Get Hired podcast.
Hi, Jess. How are you doing? It's so great to be here.
Yeah, great to have you. You've had an amazing journey from your corporate career in pharmaceuticals to coaching women through different career transitions. So I want to talk about your business and then what was that aha moment that made you kind of switch gears?
Yeah, thanks for asking. Firstly, I wanted to say a quick happy belated birthday. I believe you celebrated your birthday recently. Wanted to just wish you that. I love your focus really on empowering job seekers to really excel in their careers. And that's similar to what I'm doing as a career transition coach has really my focus is to empower my clients and my listeners as on my podcast. The reason I got into career transitions coaching is because of my own career transition. I was in the corporate pharmaceutical industry for 25 years, very successful. And I backtrack a little bit. I'm a Canadian of South Asian descent, and when we moved here in the 60s, I saw my parents and the immigrant mentality, and that really led me into working hard and all of that, the determination to, and also it was a traditional background. It's like, get your schooling, get your education, get the job and all of that. And so I listened to that and I followed that, and I got into the industry, really did very well in sales and marketing, and pushed myself, as many of your listeners probably do, is, when I'm climbing up the ladder. And then there was a point, Jess, that something happened, and I think your listeners may relate to this, is that I began to hear this little inner voice that was telling me that something wasn't quite right. I was really successful at work. Everything was going fine. Everything from the outside seemed perfect. But something inside me was telling me that there's something that needs to change. I wasn't as fulfilled as I used to be. I was kind of struggling with not knowing who I really was anymore, what I really wanted to do, the self-doubt that comes with the fear of doing something different as well, right? When that inner voice kind of grew so loud that I couldn't ignore it anymore, I decided that was a trigger for me to do something about it. So I made the big shift, and I left the corporate career, and I went on a kind of a journey of rediscovery. I studied, what happens at midlife, for example, how to find your purpose, all of that, and all the energy around that. And I realized that I wasn't the only one going through this. Right. So it became my mission to help people like me, who are going through these transitions in life, figure what to do next and how to actually start that process. Because there's a lot of things that happen at that stage of life, right? Whether it's a career transition or a major life transition that happens, that it's like, what do we do next? So that's my mission and my goal.
Okay, well, so let's think back to the time that you had that itch for change. What was that first step that you took to that path of rediscovery?
That's a great question. Yeah. When you're at these trigger points and these stages, when you think, okay, now, the pain of staying the same is worse than, leaving, right? I did a lot of studying. I did a lot of self-discovery, self-care, a lot of research into different areas. But I came across this concept of, you mentioned in the introduction, called Ikigai. That really resonated with me, and I went through this process, and what that means really, if you want me to describe what that is.
So before we met, I've never even heard of the concept of Ikigai, so I started
Yes.
reading a little more about it. And so I know it's the Japanese concept that combines the words iki to live and gai,
Yes.
I think a reason. So for those who haven't heard of this before, just like I didn't, maybe you can break it down for us. What's the magic behind that concept?
Yes. Yes. It's actually something that really resonated with me, and I think it'll resonate to your listeners who are going through this stage where they're kind of figuring out, okay, what is that sweet spot where I can find something that I love, is not only a combination of my skills, my passions, my values, but so this concept, Jess, originated in Okinawa, Japan. It was conducted. There was research conducted in that village, which is one of the blue zones in the world, and that I don't know if you might have seen that documentary with Dan Buettner. He did a research of all the blue zones in the world, which is the areas in the world where the most of the 100-year-olds live. This area in Okinawa, the reason he discovered why these people live over 100 is because they practice the concept of Ikigai. And Ikigai means reason for being, really, if the literal definition. So as you said, it's a combination of the words ikuru, meaning to live, and kai, meaning the realization of what hopes for. So it is a very, it's not just about, how much money you can make. It's a combination of 4 concepts, 4 elements. The first is passion. So that's what you love. Mission, right? What the world needs. What you're good at. And profession. So what you can get paid for. So it's really, it's a process of, it's like a Venn diagram if you look at it. And in the middle of it, once you determine the overlaps in those four areas, then you can determine your Ikigai. I take my clients through a process of discovering their Ikigai. And it's such a rewarding exercise, because when you're looking at different aspects, for example, your strengths, really looking at what you're good at. Are you utilizing your strengths to the utmost? If not, no. Why? Your passions, like, what did you used to do when you were a child? Can you bring that back out into what you're doing now, right? And values has a lot to do with it too. Is like, maybe what you're valuing now is not what you valued when you were a child or younger, right? So how can you bring that into what you're doing? So it really opens up a lot of possibilities that you may not know were there before. When you come to it from a place of rediscovering who you are, and by understanding what makes you tick, what is your reason for being, then it can be the basis for what kind of work you're looking for, even if it's any hobbies that you want to do, or any volunteer work, or whatever it is you want to live your rest of your life doing. It really is, it forms the basis of that. So did that explain it?
Yeah,
Okay. Yeah.
I need to read a little bit more about it because it's fascinating to me. Just the whole concept. And then I wasn't also familiar with the Blue Zone, so I need to go and watch that documentary.
Yeah, yeah. It really does form, like, when as I was saying, as I take my clients through the process, this is the anchor, really, that gets going. One of my clients, for example, she came to me. She was in the higher education world, and she was a program analyst. And she came to me because she was really stressed, very burnt out, and she just didn't know what she wanted to do, but she knew she didn't want to be doing this for the rest of her life. And as we went through the process of finding her Ikigai, she realized that there were certain things about what she was doing in her career which she really loved still, and she did love the process improvement and all that. So she became a consultant in that area. But she also discovered that she loved to write, and she especially wanted to write about, like, in her own personal family, there were some mental health issues. She wanted to write about that. So she's also writing a book. So the key is that, when you open yourself up to the possibilities, then, there's so many other things that you can do than just, sometimes we're so focused on the career that we've been in for a long time. So. That's just an
Well,
example.
so you have this coaching method called the Pyramid of Reinvention. So I'd like to understand, what that's about and how you've been able to use that to also help other women transform their careers and their lives.
Yeah, thanks for asking. It's about rediscovering who you are from the core, right? So, and this is a process I went through, and it's a 6-step process. The first step is all around rediscovery, and that includes, as I kind of just mentioned, rediscovering your strengths. What are your passions? What are you really passionate about? And then identifying your values. Like, what do you hold dear that you should incorporate into what you're doing next? And all these culminate in the Ikigai that I just talked about.
Okay.
The second step in the pyramid of reinvention is visioning, and it's more about, like, who do you really want to be, and not so much what do you want to do, but who do you want to be, right? And I take my clients through a visioning exercise where there's a concept called the inner mentor. Inner mentor is you, actually, like 20 years from now. Where do you see yourself? How you actually vision yourself? And that really is a guide for you to move forward. And then the third step is about overcoming your obstacles. What are your inner critics, your assumptions, your limiting beliefs? And so we go through the process of identifying those and tools to overcome or help limit those in your life. And then the fourth step is building your confidence. And, there's a lot of things that we do, especially as women, like we think that we have to get more qualified or do this or that before we can do the next thing, right? So it's how we gain the confidence to move forward. And then steps 5 and 6 are about action and accountability. So, it's about the daily action that you must take, small action steps every day to build the courage to, and then being accountable. And accountability is all about making sure that you stick to your plan.
Well, I've got all of them written down. I'm going to make sure that I highlight those in the show notes on the website. I'm going to direct people to come find you because these are all such great tips. I'm at a point in my career too where I need to think about what I want to do in 20 years. Hopefully, I'll be retired by then. I don't know. It seems so far away, but like I
Yeah.
just celebrated my birthday, like you mentioned,
Yes.
and it's hard to believe that I hit my milestone birthday.
No,
And 20 years ago, you don't plan that far in advance. So like
yeah.
it's good to kind of have that structure and that framework because things can change, and if you're not prepared for it, it
Yeah.
can be difficult.
Will say that this transition that I did from the corporate after 25 years to being a coach and a podcaster, I did after 50. Okay. So it's never too late. And,
Yes,
I did hear the term the other day. It's not retired, it's rewired. Right. So
exactly.
it's
Oh,
about
I
how
love
you
that.
look at it. It's about how you look at it, really. Is it a crisis or is it an opportunity? And I really believe that's what I say is, like, you have the second half of your life to live. It's
Yep.
how you want to
I
approach
think
it.
we're smarter now and a little bit more stable, hopefully, at
Indeed.
this phase of our lives. What would you say to someone who's feeling stuck in their job and wants to find something more fulfilling? I think all of these steps are very helpful, but what piece of advice would you give to someone in that stage?
If you have something inside of you that's telling you that something needs to change, even if it's something that's external that happened, maybe you were laid off or whatever, I would say, look internally first. Look at yourself, really, who you really are, what you really want, right? And this, by internal reflection and understanding who you really are, then that will form the basis. You'll get the confidence to move forward in directions that you may not even know. And it's about really listening to that voice, listening to that voice that's telling you, don't ignore it, because if you ignore it, it's just going to come back. Trust me, it took me 3 years to leave my job before I actually did it. And when you are open to those possibilities, then things will come to you. Like, people will come to you, opportunities will present themselves, but you have to be open to it. Right? So I would say another thing is there's going to be fear, and that's normal. And because there's fear of something new, fear that you're not qualified enough, fear of what will people think.
Yeah.
Use that fear as a fuel. not as something that's going to cause you to break. I didn't know anything about podcasting. I didn't know much about social media. I had to learn all that. And it's an opportunity to learn new skills, to network, to meet new people. And when you find that, it's just so fulfilling. So I would say, don't let the fear stop you. Right. Let it fuel you
Right.
forward. Mm-hmm.
But what about if someone wants to start discovering their own Ikigai? Do you have any fun exercises or steps that they can try to take to kind of find that?
Yes, I mean, there is a step-by-step process. I can speak to them and guide them through it,
Okay.
but I also have one of my podcast episodes, and it's a midlife reinvention podcast. I'm open to, free consultation. We can discuss, what it is you're stuck with right now. What are you hoping for? And, we can begin the process of determining your ikigai.
So, what is next for your coaching? It's My Time Now coaching. And then what is next for your podcast?
My business is called It's My Time Now Coaching, and I do one-on-one coaching. I do group coaching, and as well as I have an online course as well. It's self-directed online course. And, so I am planning on, starting another group coaching program. So it really depends on what kind of learning, your listeners are interested in, whether they'd like prefer, one-on-one or group, or whether they like to learn independently. If you want to have a call with me, we can determine what exactly it is that you're looking for, and I can take you through the my process. In terms of my podcast, it's called the Midlife Reinvention. And I really started it because I wanted to share my stories and inspiration to other women who are in transition, or people in general. And I interview women who have actually reinvented themselves in their own life. What are their struggles? What did they go through? How did they go through it? How did they, gain the confidence to move forward? So I'm continuing on with that. We have weekly episodes. I have solo episodes and interview episodes as well. And so you can check it out at Midlife Reinvention Podcast. I do have a really fun and easy giveaway if you're interested
Okay, yeah, let's go ahead
in
and
hearing about that.
tell our listeners about what you'd like to give as a takeaway.
Yeah. So as I said, I'm happy to offer a free coaching consultation where, we can go through what you might be experiencing, what you're struggling with right now. You can just email me at kavita@itsmytimenowcoaching.com. I also have a great, quick and easy resource called the Career Fulfillment Quiz and Scorecard. And that just takes less than a minute to complete, and it really gives you an instant score on how fulfilled you really are at this point in your life with your career. And then you'll also get a lot of information on what may be blocking you from moving forward. We talked about those inner blocks. And so it's a really kind of quick and easy exercise. And I can give you the link in the show notes. It's you can download it. It's go.itsmytimenowcoaching.com/quiz. So
Perfect. All right.
people can access it there.
Okay. Well, we will have all of the links to find your podcast, find the giveaways, find your coaching business. We'll have that in the show notes. And I need to update my website, but it'll be on there too. So I appreciate you and your insights. Kavita, it's been great having you on the show. That is it for today's episode of the Spill the Sauce series, brought to you by the Spicy No Hot Sauce. Huge thank you to you, Kavita. You've shared some incredible insights on your career transitions, finding your Ikigai. And if you enjoyed this episode, make sure you subscribe to the Jess Get Hired podcast so you don't miss an update. Also, go over and subscribe to the Midlife Reinvention. Find Kavita's coaching services at It's My Time Now Coaching. And get behind the scenes content. Head over to the justgethired.com website. Sign up for my newsletter. Check out more info on the guests that I have on my show. My name's Jessica Fiesta George, your host of the Just Get Hired podcast, and I'll catch you on my next episode.